So now let us go and see how this whole process works on, how the documentation come from the before deal to end of the deal and how you receive the commission. See, basically we have seen what is indenting and what are the market research you have done, and you selected the products for the business, selected the suppliers and customers for those products, and now we are really going into the business. So how you will do this business? So we have divided this business into stepwise category, like before the deal, right? During the deal, during the shipment, after the shipment, then after buyer retiring the docs, and ultimately having this deal fructify, and we get our commission also, right? So we'll see that step by step, that before deal. Yeah. So now what happens in the before deal? You have already gone to 10 customers and 5 suppliers. You have took the quotations, you have given it to the customer, and customer is analyzing and they are planning to buy this cargo. So finally, some of the customers, you will take their confirmation and send it to the supplier. So, this inquiry is sent to the supplier, and final price of that particular month or shipment, they will quote this price, right? So this is the inquiry stage. To get the inquiry from the buyer, send it to the supplier, and sending the offer from the supplier to the buyer. So this is the before deal stage. Before offer is made, commission terms and with the supplier has been already decided or negotiated, and specification and requirements have been shared with the supplier from the buyer, and supplier is supposed to pay us the commission after the deal is over and his payment is received. Normally, the commission is decided about maximum 5% in case of the petrochemical and chemicals. Normally it is 1% or $5 or $10 depending on the cargo size. In terms of some machinery, it will be 5% or 10% or even 20% if you are going to give after sale service and kind of a warranty agreement with them, so that you can service their machines for every year time, right? So this is all has been done into the before inquiry stage, right? And what we'll do now in this particular stage, we will discuss and try to negotiate by the emails, and we'll see that the both are synchronized, inquiries are synchronized with the supplier's offer, and if required we can make the re-offer, and then finally the order confirmation is taken. So this is the before inquiry stage, and the order confirmation from the buyer is sent to the supplier, and supplier now what he does. So during the deal, because the order is now confirmed from the buyer and you have sent it to the supplier. So all this transaction or all these emails or communication has to go through indenter, means you. So you will take this all communication from the buyer and send it to the supplier, right? So after all these points have been taken care, what you will do, sending the customer order confirmation to the supplier and asking to give the contract or indent. It is in the international indenting business, it is called as an indent. Means a contract that supplier is supposed to give this kind of product with this specification and from this address to this address, and his bank address is this, your bank address is this, shipment is when, and all these kind of details are given. So these are the terms of the contract. Now, after the contract is received by you, first you will try to go through it and see that whether the name is correct, address is correct of the buyer, quantity mentioned, the price mentioned, the value total, payment terms, shipment, validity of offer, indent, date, and the contract validity. Everything has been mentioned, and if the specs detailed are required, then enclosed specs, so the specs copy will be there. So entire thing you first go through it. If any lacunas are there, you can refer to the supplier, so that before you send to the customer, everything is verified by you. So again, suppose you take the re-indent from the supplier, and now the final indent is submitted to the customer through you. Either you can go and personally submit or send it on a fax, or you can send it by email attachment. Now once this indent is sent to the customer, you will say that we are pleased to submit the offer on behalf of our supplier XYZ, and the offer contents are as below. And what you have to do, simply copy paste that offer. Don't try to use your words, quote and unquote. So you will say quote and then copy paste, then unquote. Now, wherever suppose there is a commission part is mentioned, CIF $10 or CIF C 1% or 5%, so that C percentage you will remove, which is for us. because we need not have to tell them customer that what you are getting from the supplier, right? Or there is a special message for us as an indenter to notify. They will notify that it has to be coming in time, or this shipment is the goods are very tight, or whatever that you can properly word it, only edit for those kind of words. Otherwise, same to same, you quote and unquote, remove your commission part of it or unnecessary part of it, and then you can say the above offer is subject to availability and confirmation from our end. The above offer is subject to availability of the cargo or subject to availability and reconfirmation from our end, means indenter end. Why? Because maybe we send the offer and they sit on it or take time and the validity is going, then what will do? And they will, confirm the order after the validity. So they cannot ship in time, whatever has been given. So that is why it is a contractual thing. So still you will write subject to availability and reconfirmation from our end. So in case delayed answer is there and if supplier agrees, you never mind. Otherwise, you have a practically written over there that it is up to us to accept or not, right? So this is very important part of it. This will happen during the deal. Now, once this particular contract is received from the supplier, submitted to the buyer, and please call them and tell that we have sent this offer or indent or a contract to the buyer. So notify the buyer by the, of course, email and fax and personally giving this printout, and still remind them that you need to sign this contract as a acceptance, token of acceptance, to send it back to the supplier. And they need to go through all the terms like payment terms, basically quality, quantity and value. And then if there is a letter of credit as a payment terms, then they need to apply this LC to the bank, right? Or whatever the terms of payment, then they will have to adhere to that. So you take this contract from them. If any purchase order is to be received from this particular transaction, then take from the buyer, ask for them. In the meantime, you submit the contract, so they book this cargo and start preparing the cargo for a particular client. In the meantime, in the given days, 1 week time, the payment should go. If it is an advance payment or if it is LC, then they should apply the LC and you should take the draft. Draft has to be approved from from their supplier end. Also, we'll have to get it verified. And if there is any corrections, you will have to send it back to them and they will have to go to bank again and get it done. Once the draft is approved, then only ask them to transmit the LC. We'll send the LC. It will go telex transfer, and it will be very important that you first verify and then do it. If you don't verify and do it and then again you ask for the changes, then it will be $100 or $80 or $150 depending on the bank charges for every mistake you want to edit. So it is better to finalize the draft properly with the supplier and customer through their banker, and then once it is okay, you ask them to go ahead with the desired changes and then transmit the LC. Once the LC is transmitted, or the desired terms may be TT, telex transfer payment or so, then you will try to get those things fresh and you will ask the supplier that please check that the LC has been opened by the buyer through their bank or payment has been sent and this is the telex transfer details or the payment details. Ask them to verify. Once they verify, we will go into the third stage, and before that you will notify them the shipment notice that the cargo will be shipped on so and so date, X date. After the payment is received or LC is received, what will do, the supplier will book the vessel and they will notify the shipment notice that this cargo is getting loaded tentatively on so and so vessel and it will be having a voyage time and it will leave on this particular date and expected arrival date in your country port by so and so date. So this is very important that it is going to be loaded from which port at what date and what date of receiving port, arrival port it will be arriving, which date of the month. So this all process is we are working out or during the deal. Entire process of the contract getting accepted and opening the LC, reaching to the supplier, and supplier is notifying us with the shipment dates. And this has been again immediately conveyed to the buyer so that he is well informed about that. And simultaneously, the cargo is getting prepared by the exporter. Now we'll go to the third point. right? So during the shipment and after the shipment, rather. And during the shipment, we can say, and when it is going up to the port. So what will happen after all documents are in place and the payment is received and you have given the notification of the vessel to the buyer, then the shipping notice has been already sent to them. The goods is dispatched by the supplier on a particular date. Say if it is 5th of any month, then they will send it in time to the port. These containers, say they will move from the supplier's factory. So on 1st of the month, and it will reach to 2nd or 3rd. So before time, it will go to the port, and that shipping line, it is given it to shipping line, and from shipping line they will load it. Most of the time, you do the deal at CIF deal, that is a cost, insurance, and freight, right? From supplier port to the receiving port, and up to that. And some before pandemics, it was done their shipment or the port to this port, or even from their factory to your factory, right? But nowadays, in the pandemics, it is been doing from the port to port, because after the arrival port, if there is no clearance allowed during this pandemic time, so otherwise it is factory to factory, right? So it is very important point. What are the terms of payment? If you are putting FOB, then you need to give at the port, up to the port, the responsibility of the supplier, and there onwards the buyer responsibility. So the buyer has to give his forwarder's name and details, and forwarder will take their containers and send it for loading, and it will be done accordingly. So what is most important is, normally 90% or 99% of the deals you should do it CIF unless not asked for FOB or any other term. There are other terms also that, DDP basis or DDA basis and all that. You don't get involved unless you are expert into that or understand that, and then you can go ahead for it, right? So normally you will do the CIF. Now this shipment has been already arranged and vessel sails, right? So as soon as the vessel sails, the supplier will get his document like bill of lading and other documents, and he will make his invoice, packing list, and all this kind of document. And this will be sent from supplier side to the customer side by directly as per the LC terms, or it will be sent to us and we will forward it to the customer. And we need to ask customer to verify these documents as it is as per his requirement and as per the LC, letter of credit mentioned. Okay, he cannot ask additional documents through the channel of banking or so, but he can ask for any other document if desired, can be directly sent from the supplier side to him, provided it is possible to give such documents, right? So all these documents are made. So which are these documents? Normally, the commercial invoice, packing list, bill of lading, certificate of origin, certificate of analysis, insurance, and any surveyor certificate, and any kind of shipping notification required, or any other mandatory certification of the fumigation or exclusive license required, or any kind of mandatory thing required by this, or packing information, or whatever is required, or vessel should not be more than 25 years old. All these things are mentioned into the letter of credit or when he is sending his order. So all these documents has to accompany along with your commercial invoice and send it through banking channel if it is LC or DA or DP terms, and if it is direct the payment telex transfer, then they will send it by courier to directly the customer's office. Otherwise it will go through the banking channel. But the one set of document which is already arrived to us, shipping documents, we have given already to the buyer, and buyer has said okay for that, and then this original document are sent either through bank or directly to the customer depending on the terms of payment. So this is what happens during and just after the shipment, right? So now we'll see after the shipment. So steps required after the shipment and documentation made is submission of these documents, which we have already said as per the LC. And once these documents are sent by courier, they will give us the courier details that such and such documents are sent through DHL courier to bank or to customer's office, and this information you will transmit it to your customer and let them tell that go and retire this document in the bank or whatever terms of payments are there. Immediately they have to do that. Once they retire the document, means accept the document if it is LC 90 days, or retire the documents when immediate payment is met on the retirement of the document. And after getting these original documents in the hand, the customer will give it to his clearing agent and ask him to make the duty payment and other details required, custom clearance and all that. So that part is normally handled by the CHA, custom house agent, right? So that is not even customer is doing day to day unless they have full-fledged department. Normally it is given to CHA and that rates between them are already decided, right? So you don't have to go and make the clearance. Clearance is not your part. The shipment is not your part. Receiving the cargo is not your part. But overviewing the transaction and giving the intimation when to go, when to do all these things. So this is very important that after getting this document, retiring the document, and how we'll go further, right? So in the meantime, the CHA is paying the custom duty and GST or whatever applicable duties in your country, and then they will put it in the transport and send it either to their warehouse or the factory. So this is behind the scene, these operations will be happening, right? So we'll go for the now next part after buyer retiring the document and clearing the cargo, as we have seen in the last point. After buyer retiring the documents and clearing the cargo, steps involved are send the confirmation to the buyer for the payment, right? And buyer's acceptance and payment to the supplier, and supplier will be notified. They will go and check with the bank or check with directly if they have already sent the document, and then you can ask the supplier that now all your payment has been received, must be received, please acknowledge, so that we can send our invoice. We can send our commission bill to them. So accordingly, you will raise your invoice that to facilitate this order on behalf of our supplier at the rate of $10 per ton. And if you sold say 100 ton, then 100 multiplied by $10, $1,000. Then you give your current account details. For the foreign exchange, there will be the SWIFT code will be different. Normally, locally the SWIFT code is different, and for escrow account, the SWIFT code is different. So you need to take from the bank and give it to the supplier for making the payment. And once you receive the the remittance slip from the bank, you again inform the bank that we have received this $2,000 on behalf of this customer as a indenting commission, and please try to locate it and credit in our current account number so and so. So this is the process, and then don't expect that the bank will trace on their own and all that. Your requirement is there, so always ask for the remittance slip from the supplier, that how and which way he has remitted from which bank and all that, and give that remittance slip to your bank and ask them to trace, get that amount credited, and check whether it is amount is come. They will deduct whatever the charges applicable on that time or their commission of the bank, and you will receive the payment. So the whole transaction is completed. Then when you receive your payment also, because before that supplier has shipped the goods, supplier has sent the cargo has been already come here or retired by the time the document payment has been made and you are commissioned. So this completes the one cycle, and same way we have to do for the next order for the same customer, or in the meantime of this 1 or 1.5 month or 2 months time process, you have gone to another customer, placed the similar way the another order to third customer. So like that, instead of 1 container sale, now you can be able to make 5 to 10 container sale because you have now 10 customers. Now you want to expand more, so you can expand to 25 customer, 100 customer. How much need and how much market is so big. So your all research will tell you that what market is available for import or what market is available for export for this product. So accordingly, you can expand this product. And once the saturation for level playing field is there, then you go and work out on another product and do this business. So in a year, you should simultaneously do 2 to 3 products or 5 products or more even. And this becomes next year your regular product. You expand, do double business 4 times, 5 times in the same product, because it is just a copy paste job, only going to customers which you have already gone in the meantime. And second product, third product will come, and new products will come. They will go on adding, and this is how you are going to generate the business. Once you had enough commission or enough consulting fees generated at your end, then out of, suppose you have earned $1 lakh, and now you want to trade, you want to take a hang of it. Then how much is 1 container load? Suppose requirement is $25,000 or $10,000. You can make yourself a party for trading, and you can trade in that material. And if you get more profit, then you play safely. Just invest 10% or 25% of your earned amount out of this business, and this is how simultaneously you can develop the trading business. Normally, what I used to plan, suppose you want to do a business of $1 million, then you can trade into $1 lakh, 10%. So you are very safely going. Yes, of course, you can go overboard. I was also going overboard. But then what happens? Then the limits are not sufficient if you are working like country in India, because then you cannot get a dollar LC here and send dollar LC outside. So you will require to keep some mortgage to get the LC limits or CC limits. So all this game you will have to manage. So safe way is 10%. You can always do the business because already you have earned this revenue. So I hope this whole process of before the deal, means during the deal, then before shipment, after the shipment, and after the documents are retired, and getting all their money and cargoes, and we getting our commission, this completes our transaction. I hope you have listened to this. If you are not, again you can go back. Again you can read this thing or go through our the information given, or you may contact me afterward, or you can join our course into online course of 3 days to 5 days, or offline course accordingly for the weekend, and the charges will be given when you call to our people or myself, and we can discuss further. And of course there will be some few questions then I can even answer without coming to our course, but you will have to first thoroughly study and then ask the question. You do at least 10 hours study on that, and then you can ask me the question. Normally I am doing 100 hours study and then I used to ask the question. So at least do that 10% exercise and try to come back and become very rich or rich, and do indenting without investing any money or much money, and without risk, because only your risk is only your commission, and because you are not investing in the cargo. I hope you have understood this business. Then your next step will be the trading. Thank you so much. Till then. Bye bye.